UvaldeRadio.net. Good afternoon, or I should say, I guess it's evening technically. I'm Robert Miguel. We are live with Friday Night Live, Broadway 830, 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde, featuring the rising stars of Texas music. And with me, in from Caldwell, I've got Mr. Steve Anthony.
All right.
Welcome back to Uvalde, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Man.
But you drive through every now and again, though, right?
Pretty often. I was here Tuesday.
Were you here Tuesday?
I was going the other direction on Tuesday.
Steve's like putting up flyers for the show. He's like, man, I'm hustling it. Old school, like Hollywood style.
Yeah.
So now let's go into reviews. We talked about this a couple of times, but you traverse these roads pretty often, right?
I got some land over at Langtree, Law West, over Judge Roy Bean. I'm close to Judge Roy Bean. I'm trying to live his lifestyle over there. So.
Nice. Try a little safer than that, please.
Yeah, no. No, I got a beautiful place there it's on the Rio Grande. So of course, it's no getting to the river, but it's the river canyons over there, pretty awesome.
So about how often do you stop in Uvalde, Uvalde proper?
Every trip.
Yeah.
I'll stop at the Oasis every trip.
Nice, all right.
Yeah.
You know what? Corey is at the Oasis, aren't you? Corey, our afternoon girl. Yeah, she works there. So
you work in the restaurant part, or in the upstairs? You in the high office?
She's up there behind the glass windows, making sure you don't walk off with a fishing rod or something.
All right.
That's very cool.
I could score some points over there then.
So there you go, our own Corey Brooks in the Oasis Outback family there. Again, Steve Anthony in Uvalde, excited to have you perform here for the first time at Broadway 830, right?
First time,
What's your impression so far?
Well, I love the place. Yeah. The people that came in and met that are the workforce, they're just great, a lot of fun, and everybody was really helpful. So I'm loving it right now.
Now you've played here before at the Hangar 6 Air Cafe.
Hangar 6.
Which is also owned by the same people, Skyway Entertainment. Keeping it in the family here.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, on these Friday night gigs, we do these always at Broadway through. But I think one time we had you scheduled, but they were shut down for repairs or something.
Correct.
So you made your Uvalde debut, at least the one most recently.
Hangar 6 was, the first time was really good. Had a lot of people, and then the second one we just caught
that was cold, right?
A weather date. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a fresh norther blowing, and it was like
it was a little chilly.
It was really chilly.
A little chilly and silly that day, but hey, we really appreciate you being a trooper.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was still fun. Had great fun.
You never know what you're going to get to with these patio shows, right? I mean, during the summer months, it's just hot.
Exactly.
But we forget that we get some cool wind and some rain every now and again too. So, but Steve, it's a pleasure to have you here, and we're going to get right into some music, man. One of my favorites, the first single that we ever played from you was COUNTRY.
Country,
so we're going to remind everybody who you are right now with COUNTRY. This is Country. Steve Anthony. He's performing live tonight at Broadway 830. The address is 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. Come out with some pizza, a cold beer, and some live Texas music. Here you go.
Climb up in my truck, turn on the radio, tune it to Prime Country. Sometimes the opera show got to hear some fiddle and that steel guitar cry. If you need a good reason, I'm gonna tell you why. We don't need to rock, but we sure can roll. All that pop we've been hearing, man, is sure getting old. I'm gonna call Hank Jr., 'cause he won't lie. He'll be playing COUNTRY. You know where to find us on Saturday night, down at the local tavern, Wranglers cinched up tight. I start a little rhythm on my 6th string, add some bass and drums, and then we sing. We don't need to rock, but we sure can roll. All of that funk we've country. Boys, we show 'em how it goes. We don't need to rock, but we sure can roll. All of that rap they been talking, man, this show getting old. I'm gonna call up Reba, I know she won't lie. She'll be singing C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. We gonna call up Brad, George, Chris, and Toby. Ain't none of them gonna lie. They'll be singing C-O-U-N-T-R-Y.
UvaldeRadio.net. We are doing Friday Night Live at Broadway, 830 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. That's Steve Anthony, C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. A little country music right there. Steve Anthony is in town here in Uvalde, one night only, like Elvis, you know. So come on, see him live here on the patio from 7 to 10 p.m. Delicious artisan pizza, cold craft beer. They got some fantastic drink specials for the month of April. They're kind of silly to say, so I'm not going to say them today. But Steve, I just during the song you were mentioning, you just got LASIK surgery recently, huh?
Yeah.
So you're wearing your shades. I just thought you were a cool guy.
No, they told me to wear shades anytime in the sun.
It's radio, but I put my shades on too so we can match.
Yeah. So,
although I'm still blind.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. So first of all, has your eyesight? Have you always wore glasses? Was it deteriorating over age?
Well, yeah,
why the need for LASIK?
Yeah, my glasses. I wore glasses for about 20 years now,
wow.
and got pretty much dependent on them in the last 4 or 5 years, reading and computer doing. I sit at a computer a lot, running my business, and it
takes a toll.
It takes its toll on the eyes, and so I kept asking my eye doctor for years, when am I going to be eligible, to get this LASIK done, and said, you're not ready yet. She said, eyes are still good. He said, don't do it till you have to. So,
wow, okay.
So my last eye doctor appointment, he said, you're ready. So
Steve Anthony, you're over there purposely like watching TV right up close to it. You poking himself with stuff.
That's it. Now I get to survive. I threw all my glasses away.
Wow, man. So what was the experience like, and what's been the recovery like?
Well, it was a little more difficult getting used to they put foreign objects in your eyes, essentially,
Yeah.
I spent my life so far with the current lenses I had, and then you get these obscene things put into your eyes to replace your lenses, and your body is trying to get used to them. So it was a little bit more discomfort in the eyes. It was about a month worth of discomfort.
Wow.
But now things are really getting to where things are locked in, but I'm still real sensitive to sunlight.
A regular Dracula over there.
Yeah, and sometimes even at night, driving at night, although my night drive, it's a lot better.
A little lens flare action kind of stuff. Yeah, I can imagine.
But I find myself wanting to put my glasses on at night, and sunglasses on at night, just to kind of knock down some of the glare. But they say that sensation will go away, over the next few weeks. And
now let's bring this back to the music aspect of the interview. So how has it affected your playing?
Well,
I'm sure at first it hindered, and now is it better?
It's way better.
Awesome.
I mean, I can function without glasses. I'm always in between putting my glasses on to read and putting my glasses on to see my tuner, and now I can function glasses free. So
do you use like a stand for music or an iPad, or are you all memory? So
I'm all memory.
So you never were really reading stuff?
No, I really wasn't reading, other than just I have a set list written down. I just have a song list of all the songs that I do, and I don't have any order. I just play them as I feel like.
Well, how about as far as looking down at your guitar, over to your frets, your fingers?
Well, I try not to look at my guitar. After this many years, I shouldn't have to look, Robert.
Man, oh man, I just wonder how that practically works out for you. That's good stuff.
Sometimes sometimes when you get into playing really difficult things, you got to
add new music in there every now and again, right?
You want
Sure.
to check. So I do look, but it's been a great sensation so far, and and I'm still new. I'm a week into this perfect sight right now. Essentially, all the adjustments have been
congratulations
done to the lenses, so it's an awesome feeling for sure.
So a weekend, a good sight, but you've got years with music behind you. So let's go ahead and talk about your story, your background in music. Tell us how you started, and let's get a discography. I've seen over there at the merch table. You got these stacks of CDs.
Yeah, I got some CDs.
I love that about you, man. So let's go and give us the full background, the whole bio.
Well, if we want to go back to the dance hall days, that's where I grew up at in those dance hall days, and there were a lot of them on Friday, Saturday. That was it. I mean, we went to the dance hall and we played. All our friends came, and we'd fill up the dance halls. Everybody drink, and police caught you on the way home. They followed you home, made sure you stayed home.
Yeah, they still do that.
Now it's a little tougher out there. And in the dance hall days they kind of dwindle down, but there's some push to kind of bring some of that back. So I'm excited about it.
I think that it's different now in a sense that the dance halls are huge now.
Yeah,
they're not just kind of like community center styles.
Correct.
It's hard to make kind of a medium-sized venue work these days, or even a small one.
Exactly.
So they've all got to be like Billy Bob's or like what's that one in San Antonio?
Texas Live.
Yeah. They've all got to be a big deal in order to make it, and that's not what you're talking about. That's not really a dance hall. In the traditional.
But there's, Schrader Hall was going really good for years and years, and then Schrader Hall, I heard Schrader Hall shut down, and now they're just a wedding venue kind of place.
Yeah, that's because people pay money. They'll pay so much money to have a wedding.
To have a wedding, yeah.
Won't drop $10 to go see a show, though.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about back in the day, and then I guess you took a break to be a real man.
And it got to playing some really good bands. I guess the most popular one, Southern Comfort, and we got to go. We were just the hottest thing going. All over South Texas for 7, 8, 9 years, and just. We just played everything. We played country, we played rock, we played whatever people wanted to dance to. It was all about dancing, and playing dance music. So we played about 30% rock, some Southern rock, but it was a lot of country. People like country dancing, and that's the kind of places we played. Those small towns and those people. There'd be 1,000 people in a dance hall, and from Southern Comfort, we got into, I wanted to take it a little further, and I went on to Nashville and got some contacts in Nashville and started working some stuff in Nashville and had quite a few things going, and we started an album in Nashville in the 90s, and in the midst of the album, we got called on to a tour to go into South America. And we went and spent 6 weeks down in South America. In the due process of doing that, I lost 2 people out of the band and got scared with, South America was a different country than, the U.S.
For sure.
We weren't used to seeing people walking around with ARs all the time,
I hope not.
And down.
Well, now we are.
I mean, now we are, yeah. Well, in South America, it was common. I mean, everywhere you went on the street, there were armed people.
So they got spooked, and
they got spooked, and then we don't think we want to continue this, because we were going on to after that tour, we were going to go on to Abu Dhabi, Middle East, and continue on that tour, and it was going to end up being a world tour. So
more like a third world tour.
Yeah. Well, our sponsors kind of got soured on the fact that 2 of my guys left in the middle of a tour, and so we got back, and tried to resurface the thing and reassemble. And Nashville, we lost one of the singers that was with us, so Nashville kind of lost interest in it. And here we are, we're back in the dance halls playing in Texas, making a living. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad thing, but it just, we didn't get to live that dream early on. And from there, I went on and played a lot of years with Southern Comfort, and then went on tour. When David Kirsch, "Good Night, Sweetheart," you remember that song, David Kirsch? That song hit the market, and he was looking for a band, needed a guitar player, so I went on the road with David Kirsch.
That's awesome.
For about 7 months and played. I was the first guitar player on his tour, and then one of the guys that plays on a lot of my records, John Carroll, took over for me. He became the guitar player, so it was a really unique kind of thing. And here we are, years later. John's still playing on some of my records, and it was kind of a crazy event that we met back in those days. He replaced me, and now he works for me. You know?
That's very, very cool.
It was a cool deal. And from there, I went to got to play guitar with Johnny Bush for about a year and a half, and that was probably one of the most fun times of my playing career. Just being around such great players. I mean, Johnny, you know, we were never the same band. There was no telling who was going to show up, you know, for the band on any night. But the facts were, I mean, if they showed up, they were top-notch musicians. You know,
right.
Nobody showed up and was a slouch. So, you know, people like Bobby Flores.
It's crazy that these guys aren't even around anymore. Rest their souls. It's crazy.
That was a shame for him, you know, and I got to live, you know, part of that dream with, you know, playing big stages and playing some of those guys.
Those are talented, you know, legends, man.
But it was always, you know, I was living their dream, you know, in a sense. And when I retired from Johnny Bush, I just went back and pretty much said, you know, I'm tired of being on the road. I'm gonna got me a church gig and started playing that. I told you that before. You know, playing at the Catholic church and doing the Sunday Mass. And a lot of the people said, well, you know, you need to put together a gospel group or something. And I said, well, you know, I like to sing gospel, but you know, I consider myself a country artist. So,
right.
And so after listening to all that encouragement, because it was certainly encouragement, and put a little band back together and started doing this thing, and decided, you know, I'm gonna I got to go to the next level and start writing songs, see if I can even write songs again. And started writing songs and discovered, I said, well, you know, I had a whole album before I knew it. I had a whole album put together, and started going out and searching for a studio to work at, and talked to a buddy of mine, guitar player, really good guitar player, been playing with a lot of Texas artists, John Towsley, and he said, man, you need to go to Rosewood over in Tyler. He said, there, you know, a lot of Texas artists working there, great people to work with, and he had done some guitar tracks there and some sessions.
Remind me who the owner is?
It was Greg Hunt.
Okay.
And Greg Hunt was Leanne Rimes' producer in the beginning. So Greg he was a performer. He started in the rock industry out in L.A. and produced, you know, a lot of mainstream rock artists, and moved into gospel. He was into gospel real big, and you know, and the people he was producing, we're talking, you know, mainstream kind of people, and I said, well, this guy ain't gonna want me to come into, you know, here's old Steve from Podunkville, you know, he gonna want me to come in, he gonna want to be my producer, and so I went in and gave him a call on the phone, and yeah, come on in, and went in and met with Greg and Drew at the time, and Greg, he was just, I mean, we hit it off, and he was just immediately my best friend, you know. He was just one of those kind of people, and man, we got to work on the album, and we struck a deal, and he was going to produce it, and we got the first album done.
And that was the first, like, Christian country kind of a gospel.
Well, it was kind of a positive country kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
We had some positive country stuff on it, and a little bit of gospel. In fact, one of the songs from the first album, it was one of the #1 songs that made it to #1 on that CDX Southern Gospel chart. So stayed #1 for 2 weeks in a wishing well, and you know, that was Greg. So we got into the second album. We were, I think Greg produced that whole, I'm pretty sure Greg produced that whole second album, that Carrying On Tradition album, and we were just blowing and going, you know.
Wow.
I was putting one album down a year, and we were getting it all said and done, and so, well, you know, it's, the writing was coming, the songs were coming, so I kept writing and just kept booking studio time, and here I am, you know, 3 years in, and I'm working on my third album.
Well, it's cool to see that, you know, you're kind of more of a hired gun guitar player, kind of, you know, kind of backup guy, and now you're kind of coming to your own.
I just want to,
it's just a cool story to
want to write
see.
and be able to write and be able to write good songs.
And having success, too. I mean, you got charting singles, you know, in Texas country, gospel and positive country. Doing real well, man. It's just this great story. Now, we started off the story by talking about the dance hall, so we're going to play one of your songs. We'll get back into the story here in a minute.
All right,
but Honky Tonk Land, let's talk about that.
Well, it was, I was kind of influenced. I was influenced a lot by Hank Jr., Hank Williams Jr., and I always, him, Neil Young, these guys, a lot of Nashville artists use that drop D tuning, and I just love playing around with drop D tuning. So it was just one of those songs, and it was kind of Hank Williams Jr. influence, and came up with the little riff and the pattern to. It was really, in the beginning, it was Honky Tonk Man. And I said, well, I can't do Honky Tonk Man. There's already been Honky Tonk Woman, So I said, Honky Tonk Man, I think that was Dwight Yoakam did Honky Tonk Man,
right.
And I said, well, I can't do another song called Honky Tonk Man. And I thought about it, and I said, well, I'm going to call it Honky Tonk Land. So I kind of restructured the chorus a little bit to go around, kind of that circus kind of act, and that's kind of how we produced the song. Kind of, we wanted it to feel like it was you were going to the circus, you were going to Honky Tonk Land. So,
well, let's check it out again.
Yeah.
Steve Anthony here at Broadway 830 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. If you are local, you got time to come see him do a live set here on the patio from 7 to 10 p.m. Enjoy delicious pizza, cold beers, and some great live music. This is Honky Tonk Land. Steve Anthony on UvaldeRadio.net's Friday Night Live.
Set out on the highway with everything he owned. Knew it wasn't gonna be easy. He would face the unknown. Dreams he was having would take him on these one-night stands. Headed for a life in a honky-tonk land. Honky-tonk man, sing your song. Stay all night long, drinking shots of whiskey, a guitar in his hand, living his life in a honky-tonk land. Struggled to raise a family with his life out on the road. Worked day and night just so he could keep them fed and clothed. Wasn't scared to swing a hammer, always tried to lend a hand. Another day in the life in this honky-tonk land. Honky-tonk man, sing your songs. As long as you will listen, he'll stay all night long, drinking shots of whiskey, a guitar in his hand, living a life in this honky-tonk land. And doesn't know always where he's going, he only stops whenever he can. Even though he's tired and lonely, he pushes on through this honky-tonk land. Honky-tonk man, sing your songs. As long as you'll listen, he'll stay all night long. Drinking shots of whiskey, a guitar in his hand, living a life in a honky-tonk land. He's just living a life in this honky-tonk land.
UvaldeRadio.net, Friday Night Live. We're at Broadway 830, bringing you the rising stars of Texas music. That was Steve Anthony and his track called Honky Tonk Land. Now, which record is that on, Steve?
That's on
Can't even remember.
The Cowboy Way.
Okay, very good.
The third album.
Now, we were talking, we got a little bit into your story. We're going to, get back into that in a bit. But go ahead and give us your discography. How many records you got? Give us a quick run on those.
We'll have 4 albums and working on the 5th right now.
Very cool, very good.
We're in the process of getting the 5th one. We're about midway through the 5th studio album.
And Steve has got his catalog for sale here at Broadway 830. You got a big old box of CDs over there. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, well, I don't really sell them. I ask people just give me a donation,
Okay,
because
very good. All right.
My thing is the music. I'm here for the music. The money, if it comes, it's okay. But it's I'm making these albums to be able to write the music and make the music, and that's what excites me.
Well, check out the records he's got available here, and while you're at it, come over here and have a couple of cold beers and delicious pizza. Not just pizza, they got wings and pasta.
Oh, yeah.
And all kinds of good stuff, too. So
and drop some tips in my jar.
He does have a tip jar, yeah, so there you go. It's a nice one, too. So, again, Steve Anthony performing tonight at 7 p.m. It's going to be a great night of live music. Let's go ahead and give you a sample of what that's going to be like. So, Steve, go ahead and take it away, man. Do a little live performance here on the radio. Right out here in the beautiful patio. The weather is nice. You might hear some traffic, a truck here. We had a guy doing some weed whacking earlier, but he's done. So we'll go ahead and flip it over to Steve.
At least we know it's going to be live, right?
Go check it out. This is Steve Anthony live, Friday Night Live on UvaldeRadio.net.
And this is a cut that's going to be on the new album. So it's a thing called I Think About the Whiskey.
Seemed like a perfect ride. One man, one woman, rolling with the tide. Before too long, something was wrong that we failed to work out. Now here I am alone. It's all I think about. The whiskey to hide the cold hard truth. Every time it hits me, there's nowhere to turn to. Give me a shot or two of the nighty proof to keep me from feeling blue. I think about the whiskey, get me over you. I tried getting past the sorrow and not succumbing to the pain. Oh, but now I wonder why I even try. It always turns out the same. Since you said goodbye, I've gone out of my mind. I don't know what I'll do so to keep me sane. Here I go again. I think about the whiskey to hide the cold hard truth. Every time it hits me, there's nowhere to turn to. So just give me a shot or two of the nighty proof to keep me from feeling blue. I think about the whiskey. Oh, I think about the whiskey. I think about the whiskey to get me over you.
UvaldeRadio.net. We are doing Friday Night Live. That is Steve Anthony right there, and we are having a good time, man. Getting ready for a show from 7 to 10.
Whiskey.
Woo, man! And speaking of, just good timing, right?
Oh yeah, perfect timing.
You got a little double shot of Crown right there waiting for you, man. That's fantastic. Just a sample of what you're going to hear tonight here at Broadway 830. Live music from 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to let you get that drink in you, and we're going to get into some music here real quick. Do another one of your recorded tracks. Steve Anthony, Run Cowboy Run. This is UvaldeRadio.net with Friday Night Live.
Whiskey by the bottle, don't need the glass. Take another swallow, won't be the last. Miles and miles to travel before I lay my head on the ground. The cold, cold ground will be my bed. Run, cowboy, run, no time to slow down. Someone's tailing me. Cannot stop until I reach the setting sun. Run, cowboy, run. Run, cowboy, run. Dream about a woman I'd left behind. My eyes fly open, she's on my mind. Like the smell of spring flowers, feel her touch my hand. Then she's gone, so quick she's gone. Like castles in the sand. Run, cowboy, run, no time to slow down. Someone's tailing me. Cannot stop until I reach the setting sun. Run, cowboy, run. I need to settle down on a piece of ground. Stop and have a little fun. Run, guitar, run. Run, cowboy, run, no time to slow down. Someone's tailing me. Cannot stop until I reach the setting sun. Run, cowboy, run. Run, cowboy, run. Run, cowboy, run. Run, cowboy, run. Run, cowboy, run.
UvaldeRadio.net, Friday Night Live at Broadway 830, 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. If you are in Uvalde, you got time to be on out here in the patio. It's beautiful weather and great people smiling and cold drinks and hot pizza. And that was Steve Anthony, Run Cowboy Run. Now you're a bit of a cowboy, of a cattleman. So you were just telling me a little story off the air. You guys had a big designation, a big win recently.
We had a big win.
Talk about that, man.
At Houston Livestock Show, we won Grand Champion Polled Heifer. Of course, you don't sell them. You know that the young lady that shows for us is she's been doing a great job, and she's made a lot of scholarship money off this one cow. So she's won some reserves, San Antonio reserved Fort Worth, and we finally got the Grand in Houston. So we were pretty excited.
So what's some of the work? 'Cause I'm not much of I'm a city boy, raised. So give us what does it take? What's the tips you got?
Well,
to win the prize?
A lot of luck.
Yeah.
A lot of luck.
Having the right judge back there.
Well, number one, it takes the right stock. I mean, we've been working at this for 10 years now, and just trying to develop, looking at different sires and different dams, or in common language, different bulls and different, mama cows, and just trying to, you're constantly searching for that perfect match of and all of our stuff, we take the eggs from the donor cow and breed that egg to the perfect sire for that, for that dam. You want the perfect sire. So it's taken us several years, to figure out a pattern. You just kind of got a lot of process of elimination, of going through the motion.
Year over year, you just get a little bit better and smarter at it.
The thing about it takes a while, because, when you start this, it's a year before you really see any results. You'll see right away. The good calves.
But eventually you get like a dynasty, right? Like you get good at it, and then you're set, right?
Well,
we
hope. Yeah. At least fantastic. We got a good pattern going, and so it's pretty awesome. Getting that grand champion finally. I mean, we worked at it, and it's really rewarding to get to that spot.
Well, like I said, I don't know much about agriculture and farm and cattle and whatnot, but I do listen to our farm report here on UvaldeRadio.net every morning at 5 a.m. and 12 noon, Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. It's tough times in the business, right? So how have you navigated through that?
Well, you just got to keep going with the flow. You just can't give up. There ain't no giving up.
You have to just kind of accept the lower profit margin and just kind of weather through it.
We were for the last years. We've been. I don't know any better way to describe it other than we've been taking an ass whooping.
Well, you're also a man of God. You're doing a lot of praying. You're doing a lot of praying too, right?
I pray a lot, but I hate to, talk like that, but.
Yeah,
but
you just got to take
it. You just got to, you get knocked down and you just got to get up. Same thing, it's music industry too,
Right.
The music industry can knock you down, and you just got to keep getting up and keep giving your best effort and living a good, believing in the Lord, believing in yourself, and trying to live a clean life and a good life, and really helping others to live that same kind of life. And I think in the end, you get rewarded for whatever you put into it. You're going to, it may not seem like the end is in sight, but it comes.
Steve, getting back to the cattle thing now, you're an older gentleman, and a lot of the story gets back to how these newer generations, they're just not interested in cattle and farming and agriculture like yesteryear. Do you have someone to pass this on to? Do you got people stepping up?
Yeah. My youngest son is
right.
He's dog eat dog. He loves it.
He's hands on. He's all.
He lives and dreams it, and his wife. It's
gotta feel great though, right? To have someone that's want to continue your hard work and your legacy, right? Because I feel for these people, whether they're farmers or cattle people, where their kids aren't interested.
Their next generation is they don't want that hard life.
Yeah.
It's a hard life. Cattle business is a hard life.
Sure.
This ain't no fun and games. It's fun and games if you get a win, and celebrate part, but. This is not a fun and games industry. It's dog eat dog, and it's calving season. You may be up all night. You may be up for 4 or 5 days in a row all night, just helping. Not every calf comes out. There's a lot of things. Just like women, women have to have C-sections. We have to pull a lot of calves. Out of cattle, and it's just part of the industry. You just accept it and.
You gotta live it. You're in it.
You just gotta live it.
Yeah.
It's part of your lifestyle, and I grew up in that lifestyle, and I'm carrying on that country tradition that my mother and dad instilled in me, and raising livestock, and we had chickens and pigs and cattle, and you know, we had our own garden. We lived off the land.
Well, you know what? That is a great segue into your new single, Steve. Mama's Endless Love. It's really just all about tradition of being raised by a good mom and a good dad.
Exactly.
You know, with a kind heart and a steady hand, and all the great things that we've talked about in the past. Just traditional, you know, and whether it's traditional music or just a good old, you know, tradition, you know, American way of life.
The American dream.
Let's go and talk about the new song then, Mama's Endless Love. It's doing real well for you. So
it's doing really well. Yeah, it's at number 4. I talked to the lady in Nashville that promotes it out from Nashville, and she's thinking that you know, we got Glenn Templeton blocking up the top spot for me right now. And
every now and again, one of those big guys, just one goal away, right?
And so, you know, the single before it was Cody Johnson was playing. Cody Johnson stayed at the top for 13 weeks on that.
Yeah.
Until You Can't, and I was at number 3 and number 2.
It's like, isn't the hot country chart enough for you, Cody?
That's
come
right,
on,
Cody,
you gotta take over the gospel
cut me
too.
some slack. So it was a crazy kind of thing. You know, I got to knock Cody Johnson out of number 1 spot from number 2. So now I got to see if I can get Glenn Templeton out of the way. Well, I love Glenn, you know.
So it is doing really well again on the gospel charts.
It's at number 4. It's been at number 4 and 5 now for about 3 or 4 weeks, and
we'll try to keep pushing it over the top. We'll do what we can.
We got to appreciate that, Robert. I need your help to get Glenn out of the way.
Give us a scoop on the inspiration of the song.
Well, you know, it was just what we talked about. Just, you know, just those things that were instilled in me from my mother and dad, and you know, we grew up in a country life, and it's a little small town. We everything we did, it was very rare to go to town. We had milk cows. We made our own milk. We did our own. We had chickens. We had eggs. We had pig. We butchered pigs. We had bacon. We had cattle. If we needed meat, we butchered. And you know,
there's somebody young out there listening right now thinking of this. They've only seen this on like a TV show, and maybe not even that.
Maybe so, but you can sustain yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, we had a garden. We had potatoes. Every vegetable known to man, and there was no need to go to town to go to the grocery store. We grew up having everything we need, and
most importantly, you had your mom and dad.
We had and you know, and we took some great values, a lot of ass whoopings, and to bear in mind, you know, we talked about that a minute ago.
Yeah.
But you know, I got my ass whooped a lot of times by my mother and dad, and I think in today's society, I think, you know, my take is that there's a few more of them that need some of that, you know.
Oh, for sure. Hey, you know what? I had to go out of the backyard and get a switch, you know, if you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
More often than I really wish. And then you got smart, got a permanent paddle eventually. But again, we got Steve Anthony here. He's performing tonight, Broadway 830 for Friday Night Live tonight from 7 to 10 p.m. Let's go ahead and get your song on, Mama's Endless Love. It's doing really great on the gospel and Christian country positive charts, and also making a dent in the Texas charts.
In the country charts.
So let's get it on, and then we'll come back and wrap it up and get you on stage.
Sounds
all right?
great, man.
Steve Anthony, Mama's Endless Love. This is Friday Night Live, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
Near some cotton fields on a little piece of land. At an early age we learned hard work, played barefoot in the sand. They taught us how to grow our food, share what we keep. Never were we hungry when we laid down our heads fall asleep. Praise to the Father, praise to the Son. Stand up for freedom, be proud of what you've done. Go and help your neighbor, most of all give thanks for Mama's endless love, Daddy's guiding hand. Home, a family of our own. Need to teach our children all the good we have shown. Remember, they will be the ones we need to be strong. Make the world a better place for them and for those who'll carry on. Praise to the Father, praise to the Son. Stand up for freedom, be proud of what you've done. Go and help your neighbor, most of all give thanks for mama's endless love, daddy's guiding hands. We're all together, flying through time and space. We decide what we leave to the human race. Praise to the Father, praise to the Son. Stand up for freedom, be proud of what you've done. Go and help your neighbor, most of all give thanks for mama's endless love, daddy's guiding hands. Give thanks.
UvaldeRadio.net, Friday Night Live. That is Steve Anthony and his latest single there, Mama's Endless Love. Probably going to hear that one live here on the patio tonight at Broadway, 830, 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. Friday Night Live every Friday with UvaldeRadio.net. And that's where we showcase the rising stars of Texas music. I've got Steve Anthony here. We're going to wrap it up here, man, but we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about still.
Oh,
Got to
yeah.
squeeze it in. Because
Squeeze it.
I understand that you are getting ready for a video shoot. And not only are you going to shoot a video, it's going to be like in a destination.
Yeah.
And with a buddy of mine that's going to do
With
some of the,
yeah.
some of the
Don
production.
Mills is the producer, director.
Shout out to
and-
Don Mills. We go back so far, and his name pops up all the time.
He told me y'all go way back. So
I'm going to call him Whack-A-Mole because he pops up and I just got to smack him down because he's always showing up in my business.
yeah.
So how did you hook up with Don for a video shoot?
Well,
First of all, let's talk about the song.
Okay. The video I'm falling in. I cut it on the we have it on the Cowboy Way album, and just really wasn't happy with the finished product that we came up with. Like I said, we kind of rushed to get some things done during that album, and it just kind of got one of those things that kind of just we should have gone back and just picked it apart and said, hey, let's get this, let's redo this track.
But now you've revamped
and
it.
now we revamped it. And well, Joe Kelly with CDX Records, who I'm signed with, decided that we should have an island, just take that track and just add some percussion and do what we call an island mix. And I said, no, the track is not good enough. Let me go in and I'm going to book a studio date. I'm going to go in and recut the track and rewrite, just kind of restructure the song. And it really turned out awesome. It's going to be worth the whole deal. And so then Joe started talking about, I sent him the rough cut of the track. He said, oh man, this is great. He said, we got to make this video special. So let's go to Virgin Islands and do this thing, because Don's got some contacts at Virgin Islands. And so we rock along. This started in February. We get to about 2 weeks ago, and everybody's saying, man, the Virgin Islands, that's a lot of money over there, Virgin Islands. So let's rethink. What about, because the song is Cozumel. The song is, took all my buddies down to Cozumel. And I started diving some years ago, and that's how I ended up going to Cozumel. And I got to meet a lot of people down there. I've got some really good friends down there. And so it just got restructured. And, oh, by the way, Steve, can you take care of all this for us? So I said, okay, yeah. Lucky I got friends in those places. So I started work on it about 10 days ago, and I had help with a lady out of Houston that has a house, and they become really good friends. She has a house on Cozumel, lives there about half of the year, and she came in and she was an angel, took the whole thing over and worked out all the logistics and made my life very rewarding for this video shoot.
So what's the concept for the video?
Well, it's going to be, we're going to do an underwater country music video,
wow.
which we don't think's been done.
I don't think so either. If it was Brad Paisley.
Well, we're going to do a little underwater shooting. We're going to have a mermaid. We got Hannah Mermaid coming from L.A.
That's awesome.
And so we're going to have a mermaid in the video, and her and me are going to do some interaction. Of course, we're going to have some fun at it. We're going to be on the beach, and we're going to.
Steve, I love you, but when I think of Steve Anthony, I don't think about a mermaid in your video. I'm thinking about some kind of rustic saloon kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
That's me too. My wife's not hitting on it too big either. She says, "What are you doing?
You crazy?
Are you crazy? You gone crazy or what?" But no, we're just, this concept. Don and Joe got in there and started thinking this concept, and Don.
I know Don. He just wants to hang out with a hot mermaid.
There you go. So, if Don's involved, we might as well get this girl over here, So,
fantastic.
But we're just, she's a professional, and we're just going to have a great time. We're going to do some land shots. We got some Jeeps going. We got a dive boat, so we're going to do some stuff off the boat. We're going to do some shots, off the beach for sure. And this song is all about being in Cozumel and having a good time, and being in the sand, enjoying the wind, the waves, and the sun, and drinking margaritas.
Now, when do you expect this to wrap and be done?
The single is going to be released anywhere between May 1st and May 15th.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's more of a summer song.
Yeah. We're just about finished with the single is going to master on Monday, the 24th. Usually takes Georgetown about a week to get the master. So we expect to have the master at least where we can release the single on May the 1st. Our initial target date was to release on May the 15th, which is that's the first day of the video shoot. Mm-hmm. And then the video is going to release on June the 1st.
Very good.
So our whole plan with the song was to have kind of everything released right around June the 1st.
Nice.
Going into summer.
Yeah, because if you put the single out while you're doing the video, then you can do some posts and some social media.
It's a summer song.
Yeah.
It's got some Jimmy Buffett kind of flavor. It's that Caribbean.
I love what you're doing, Steve. Because you got CLUNTRY, which is more of a kind of a '90s country kind of driving thing.
Yeah.
You got your Mama's Endless Love, which is definitely a gospel kind of tip in your hat there.
Yeah.
And now you got this kind of island vibe.
Well,
so it's you're just a versatile country guy, man.
I try to go and write as many. I love country, and I like, kind of stretching the limits on country. I'm not stretching it to Nashville now. I'm not pop country.
We've
I'm
had
sorry.
that conversation.
I can't do the pop country, but I like. I have songs on my albums. I have blues songs. I have bluegrass songs. I have gospel songs. I have good, just hardcore country songs. I have, what I would term as 90s country.
If you like good country music, traditional, real country music, you got to find Steve Anthony.
I sing traditional country music.
Well, Steve, we gotta wrap this up here. We're almost done. We've been talking a while. So
I got to go to work.
Give us the website, the social medias, all the ways to find you.
Website is always SteveAnthonyMusic.com. And there are a couple of them out there, so don't be confused about the other Steve Anthonys.
Find the country guy.
Find the country guy.
The guy with the hat.
And of course, Facebook, Steve Anthony Music, Facebook, and then I have a personal Facebook page, Steve Anthony. So we're on Spotify, Apple, all the digital music. Anywhere you get digital music, we're there. So
connect with them digitally, but more importantly, come by and connect with Steve Anthony tonight here live and in person.
Come see me live
at Broadway 3.
Y'all come on out, and we're gonna make a party out of it. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna sing some good songs.
And the weather's nice tonight too.
The weather is beautiful.
It
was kind of warm a while ago, and now it's just turned out to be a great evening. it's a great evening for country music.
Well, Steve Anthony, again, thank you so much for being out here tonight. Looking forward to the show. It's always a pleasure catching up with you, and looking forward to seeing that video, especially. It's going to be really cool. So, again, guys, you got a couple minutes to get down here live if you're in Uvalde. 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde, Broadway 830, Friday Night Live. Next week, we've got J.R. Herrera, and the week after that, I've got Richie Bustillo for Cinco de Mayo. So, get all the details at uvalderadio.net/events. Right now, it is Steve Anthony getting ready to take stage. That's going to wrap it up here for Friday Night Live on uvalderadio.net. We now resume regular programming.